Welcome to our daily Forex market analysis, and this is for trading on January the 8th, 2020. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. All right, as usual, we'll start off by taking a look at our calendar here. So in terms of the news here, we just had a couple of important pieces of data that came out. PMI numbers were positive for the US, and therefore we did see US dollar did relatively well today. Now, we did see building approvals as positive. The big thing that's going on at the moment in the markets is around the around US and Iran. So we had mentioned this or talked about this over the weekend in our weekly analysis, and now things are kind of back in the forefront once again. So today we got there were reports that Iran had actually fired missiles and at the U.S. base, military base in Iraq, and there were some casualties. So there's been some information in regards to that. So right now, things have not escalated. So we've seen markets go back and forth as a result of that. Now, at this moment, President Trump has decided not to deliver an address. He was supposed to speak, but he has decided not to. And right now, U.S. has actually not really retaliated at this point. So one of the things that Iran said that they are going to stop launching more missiles if U.S. doesn't retaliate, but if they do, there would be more casualties, I guess. So at this point, we're just waiting to see how things unfold. So I highly recommend keeping an eye on this because it will impact our trading. This will have an impact on both the Forex as well as the equities markets as well as oil as well. So something very important going on at this moment. So if there is further escalation, if there's retaliation from the US, now that will be negative, and we will see an impact on our negative impact on the market. So let's go on to the charts now. So we'll start off with euro dollar. In terms of our candlesticks here, we see that price did drop today, and now we have a bearish candle close. So looking for price to drop here. So we have a nice pullback here already for euro dollar. So looking for it to drop further here. So the move that I expect would be this. So looking for price to drop into 1.1130 level. And then if it does break through that, then the second target here is 1.1090. So bias for euro dollar is to the downside today. Pound dollar here. This one as well, we have a bearish candle close here. Price went higher and then came into this resistance level, and we have seen it drop from there. So we do have a bearish candle close. Now looking for price to drop further. So bias is bearish here. This one here, we could see more of a pullback here. So keep an eye on that. 1.3150 potential pullback level, and then 1.3050 would be the target here. First target, so bias is bearish. First target 1.3050, and then second target here is 1.2960. Actually, I totally forgot to look at what's coming up here in terms of the news. My apologies here. So just a quick note here, we do have ADP non-farm payroll numbers. With this one here, ADP is a precursor to non-farm payroll numbers that come out on Friday. So this number will be important for the US dollar. So if it does not meet the expectations here as it's forecasted, we are likely to see a drop in the US dollar as a result of that. So here we saw that previously the number had come in below expectations and US dollar dropped as a result. So if you see that this expectation gets missed, we could see a negative impact on the US dollar. And then we have trade balance numbers here for Australia, which will be, again, very important for Australian dollar here. So let's go back to our charts here. So pound dollar, bias is bearish. Aussie dollar here, a huge drop in Aussie dollar today. Now, bias is bearish, but we have a huge drop, which means we could get some substantial pullback. So keep an eye out for that. Now, here I will look at 0.6880 as a potential level for a pullback, and then looking for a drop. So bias is bearish. Target is 0.6840. So bias, bearish bias here for Aussie dollar. Now, if it does go below that, then we're looking at 0.6800. But this one has moved a lot already, so just be mindful of that. But bias is bearish for Aussie dollar as well. New Zealand dollar here, this one as well, we could not, price could not go through the high, so we have seen a drop. So now we have a bearish engulfing candle here. Based on that, bias is bearish. For a potential pullback level here, we're looking at 0.6650 as a potential pullback level. And then I'm looking for a drop here. Target is 0.6600. So bearish bias here for New Zealand dollar as well. Dollar CAD here, this one is still trading in a range. It is going back and forth, still in this range here. Now, with in regards to the current situation here, if there is an escalation in the current situation, we are likely to see Canadian dollar go up because oil will go up. And that means that dollar CAD could drop as a result. But US dollar is also a safe haven asset, and when we see problems around the world here or geopolitical issues like we are seeing right now, we tend to see US dollar go up. So keep an eye on this. But dollar CAD right now is range bound, and I would look for price to trade in this range here, looking for it to move back towards 1.2950 level here in the bottom. Now, overall bias is still to the downside. So if we do see a break to the downside here, I will look for a pullback and a further move to the downside here. So for now, bias is bearish for dollar CAD. Euro pound here, this one, we have a neutral candle close here for the day. Price opened and closed at pretty much the same level. Overall, this one is making its way to the downside, so we could see a drop here. So look for a further move to the downside. 0.8450 is the first target, and then if it goes through, 0.8400 will be the second one. So overall here, bias is to the downside, but today's candle close is neutral, so bias is neutral to bearish for euro pound. Euro Swiss franc here, so we do have a bearish candle close, nice pin bar here. And with the news that came out in regards to the missile attacks, we have seen price drop here. However, it has pulled back. So this is something that we need to keep an eye on. Price is volatile right now. There was this quick drop and now the reversal of that move. So just be mindful of that. Price can be very, very volatile. Things can move really quickly. So keep an eye on your trades. But right now, based on our candle close here, bias is to the downside. Now it has moved a bit, but the next level here to watch would be 1.0780. So bearish bias here for Euro Swiss franc. Pound Swiss franc here, this one as well, we do have a nice pin bar here. So bias is to the downside. Now, things have moved rapidly, like I said, based on the news, and we had a big inefficient move to the downside, which got filled pretty much right away. So based on the daily candle close, though, bias is still to the downside, so I will look for a move back towards 1.2670 here in order to test that level. And then if it does manage to go through that level, then 1.2600 will be the next target. So bearish bias here for pound Swiss franc. Dollar Swiss franc here, this one has also been trading in a range. Price has been going back and forth. Today's candle close is neutral. But if things do escalate and if we see some sort of negative commentary come out of the US, which it's likely to, which is very likely, because if they just basically take the attack without saying anything about it, that would not look too good. So I would expect some sort of a response from the US. However, because President Trump was a little hasty in the initial steps that he took, there has been a lot of fallout as a result of that within the US. He has been criticized from the Congress, or Congress was not very happy with the actions that were taken, as well as the allies. They have criticized the decision. They haven't actually really come out and criticized, but they are not in the favor of a war. And overall, he has felt the impact of that decision. So now he is likely to be a little bit more careful with what decisions get made or what steps get taken. So US is likely to basically think through a plan, is what I'm trying to say at this point. So we have to keep an eye on how things unfold. So at first, US did minimize the attack and they said, you know, there's an attack all the time, but you know, it turns out Iran did confirm they sent out tens of missiles that were launched. So let's see how things play out. But anyway, so if there is an escalation, Swiss franc is likely to go up, as well as Japanese yen, which means Swiss franc crosses are likely to drop, as well as yen crosses are also going to drop as a result of any escalations or further uncertainty in the geopolitical situation. So because of that, we could see a move back towards the bottom of this range, 0.9650. But based on the technicals alone, we are overall in the downtrend. But right now, this is sideways move, so neutral bias for dollar Swiss franc. Pound yen here, we have a nice pin bar here as well. Price went up like we were expecting yesterday, but didn't quite get to the second target here. And we have a drop from there. So overall bias for today is to the downside. Now, with the news that came out, we have seen the move already here to the downside. So the first target was met, but now I would look for a further move to the downside if we do see an escalation. So expect volatility in all these. I would say just overall in the markets, expect volatility. Biases to the downside. First target 141, second target 140. So bearish bias for pound yen. Euro yen here, again, we have a bearish candle close for the day. So looking for a drop here back into the support. It did, again, reach the first target, as we can see, right into the support. But overall bias still remains to the downside. So I'm looking for a retest of the low here at 120.20. And then if price goes through that, the second target here is 119.40 and then 119.20. So overall biases to the downside for euro yen. Dollar yen here, we see that price went and tested the resistance, but dropped from there. So right now it is range bound. But like I said, with the escalations, we are likely to see yen crosses drop. So we have seen a drop in dollar yen as well. So I am looking for price to go back and retest 107.80. And should there be a further escalation, it could drop even further into 107.20. But first target here is 107.80. Aussie yen, nice bearish candle close for the day here, which gives us a bearish bias. Again, it reached our target already here, 73.80, because of the whole attack. And now bias still remains to the downside. And as we can see, there was a quick drop and price has filled in that inefficient move. So at this point, I am looking for basically a retest of the low once again. So target is 73.80 and then 73.40. So bearish bias for Aussie yen. New Zealand yen, same thing here. We do have a bearish candle close for the day. So bias is to the downside, but again, the first target has been reached already. But now same thing here as well. We see a rapid drop. Price moved back up again just as quickly, because a lot of times these inefficient moves, this quick drops in the market or quick moves in the market do get reversed, and this is exactly what we are seeing right now. So once the prices stabilize, then I am looking for a retest here again, 71.20. So bias is to the downside for New Zealand yen. CAD yen, same thing. We do have a bearish candle close here. We have a lower highs, so bias is to the downside. But once again, price went through this, or price reached the support, couldn't hold below. We saw a quick drop and then just as quick move back to the upside here. But overall, bias is to the downside. 83.00 is the first target. And then should it continue lower, 82.50 is the second target. And let's take a look at Pound New Zealand now. Pound New Zealand prices into resistance. We have a pin bar here, so bias is to the downside here. In this case, I will look for a retest or potential retest of the high 1.9840, then looking for a drop. Target is 1.9580. So bearish bias here for Pound New Zealand. Euro New Zealand here, we do have a bearish candle close, or we have a pin bar here. Now price did shoot through, and now we are seeing it come back down. So just be mindful of the volatility in the market across the board. So as we can see, our prices have been all over the place. If it escalates again, then this one could go higher. But for now, bias is bearish, looking for a drop towards 1.6700. EURCHF here, this is looking bearish. We do have a bearish candle close, so looking for price to drop further. It is holding below the support resistance level, which is a sign that it's likely to drop further. 1.4450 is the target here, so bias is bearish for EURCHF. Pound CAD here, this one is neutral here. Slowly, it's kind of making lower highs here. So overall bias still remains to the downside, but we do have a neutral candle close, so bias is neutral. I would look for a retest of 1.6970 level here, but neutral bias for Pound CAD. Euro Aussie here, we have a bullish candle close, but prices right into our the next level here is a big major support resistance level. As we can see, price has not been able to get through that level for some time here. So at this point, price did move up higher. Now, should there be an escalation, we could see this one go up, but overall right now, it's pulling back. But I would just be careful with trading these, because things can turn around fairly rapidly. But we do have a bullish bias here. Just be mindful that things could turn around here. Pound Aussie here, this is looking bullish as well, but price is into resistance. So if it's not able to break through today's high, we could see a drop. But overall, bias is bullish. Next target is 1.9280. But again, if it doesn't break through this resistance, we could see a drop. Just like on the other side here, price had trouble getting through this level. It went up, dropped before it continued higher. So same thing here, we could see price drop into 1.8950. So bias is to the upside, but with caution. Silver here, let's take a look at commodities. Silver, bullish candle close for the day, and we have already seen a move to the upside, so bias is bullish. But as we can see, this one as well is impacted by what happens in the geopolitical arena. As we can see, price went up and now it has dropped from there. So if there's an escalation in the geopolitical situation, silver will go up. So we could see price go up further. And should things calm down, let's say US doesn't retaliate, they're calm about it, then we could see this one drop, but bias is bullish. 18.70 is the first target, and then if it goes through that, we have 19.20 as the second target. So bias here is bullish for silver. Gold, same thing here. We do have a bullish candle close. Now the target would have been 1587, but price has already gone through that. So let's zoom out a bit to see where we stand with gold. Okay, so in terms of the gold, we have to go back quite a bit here. Price jumped up fairly quickly. So 1600 was reached, and then 1635. So bias again here is bullish. This one again will be very volatile and will react to the news as it, or the situation as it unfolds. So keep an eye on it. If there's an escalation, this is likely to go up. And should things just calm down, we are likely to see a drop. But for now, bias is bullish. And like I said, the first target has been reached. So just be careful with going long on this. I would look for a pullback or a slightly more of a pullback before going long. But bias is bullish. 1612 is, or 1600, sorry, is still the first target. And then 1640 is the second target for gold. Copper here, copper has held below this previous support resistance level. We have seen price go up today, but it is still holding below this previous level. And that shows that this one could drop, which it has already. So at this point, if there's an escalation again, this is likely to drop. Copper is going to drop, and we could see this come back down. So right now, this is neutral. Bitcoin here, Bitcoin has started acting like a safe haven. And as a result, geopolitical problems cause it to go up. And so bias is bullish from that perspective, but we did have a bullish candle close for the day as well, which gives us a technical bullish bias as well. So at this point, the target is 85.50 for Bitcoin. Let's take a look at equities. Equities will have a negative impact from geopolitical situation. We did have a bearish candle close for S&P 500, which gives us a bearish bias. The first target 3,200, but that has been met already. So the second one here 3,180. So bearish bias for S&P 500. Nasdaq here, same thing. We have a small pen bar here. So bias is bearish. It's already into the first target here though. So if there's an escalation, equity markets drop. So I would look for this one to drop should there be another escalation. If things calm down, this one could go back up towards this 88.80 level. But for now, bias is bearish. First target, 86.50. And then second target here would be 85.50. Dow Jones, we have a bearish candle close, so bias is bearish. First target has been met already. The second target has also been met, but let's take a look here. So 28,000 will be the next level. So if it's able to hold below the 28,340 level, then I will look for the next one. But this one, again, look or expect volatility in the markets tomorrow. As we hear things unfold, we are likely to see more volatility in the market. For now, bias is bearish. DAX here, we do have doji here. So we have a large pen on the top, which means bias is to the downside here. 13,000 is the first target. And then we have 12,900 as the second target. So bearish bias here for DAX as well. FTSE, we do have a bearish candle close. So looking for price to drop into 75.30, which is the support level here. And then should it go further, we're looking at 7,500. So overall bias is bearish for FTSE as well. Nikkei here, quite a move here. So based on the technicals here, bias would be to the downside. First target has already been reached here. But as we can see here, a lot of volatility in the market. Prices are going back up. So market gapped down here for Nikkei because of the news in regards to the missile attacks. But looks like everything is going back up now. And I would expect this volatility to continue. So keep that in mind. And it looks like, yeah, market is right now, it's trying to disregard this, but any escalations are likely to push the equity markets lower. So just keep that in mind. I would not be too hasty to go long because the risk is more to the downside here. If there's an escalation. Right now, market is looking super volatile and it is moving in a way, in a very volatile way. Normally, we don't see this type of a move to the upside or this type of move period, except during volatile times. So right now, this is looking quite volatile, very jerky type of moves, which shows us volatility in the market. Anyway, so watch out for that, but bias is still to the downside. I'm looking for a retest of 22,950 here. So bearish bias here for Nikkei. All right, so that's it for today. I am going to be away on holidays for the next few days. So I will see you next week. And good luck with your trading. Bye for now.